In recent months, communities in Greenburgh have been responding to a New York State law that allows the sale and use of recreational marijuana. It lets local governments decide whether marijuana dispensaries and lounges can go into business. I spoke with the mayor of one village, Tarrytown, that's taking a halfway approach. Tarrytown Mayor Karen Brown says the village board of trustees voted to allow the establishment of marijuana dispensaries. She says the town doesn't want to miss out on the tax revenue.
And when people shop in Tarrytown and they pay sales tax, that sales tax goes to the state and the county, and then it gets distributed among municipalities. The cannabis taxes, a small portion of it would go directly to the municipality in which the dispensary is located.
But Tarrytown officials did not support the creation of cannabis lounges, where marijuana products could also be consumed. The mayor says lounges present some special challenges.
There were a lot of residents who were, concerned about the pervasive smell of marijuana on the streets of Tarrytown. And so, and also another thing is that business model of a lounge is a lot less clear than the business model of a dispensary at this time. So we thought, let's start with the dispensaries, and then maybe one day when lounges become as popular as restaurants and bars, we can go that direction.
The mayor doesn't think marijuana dispensaries will cause too many problems of their own.
Of course, there were some people who had concerns about how they might affect drug use and drug abuse in general. We followed the science that we saw that suggested that that was not the case, that a dispensary does not necessarily increase drug use among anybody. Of course, a lot of that is still yet to be seen.
Tarrytown's mayor says one other factor in the decision is that the village right next door, Sleepy Hollow, had already approved marijuana dispensaries.
People visit the two communities interchangeably. It didn't make sense for it to be legal in one place and not the other, because if Sleepy Hollow were to get, and still is to get, a dispensary, we would be experiencing any of the negative things that you might think would happen without getting the sales dollars in addition to them.
Under the New York law, when a municipality like Tarrytown votes to allow the sale or use of recreational marijuana, it cannot change course. But when a community votes to opt out, officials can still change their mind. This is Cydney Waterman reporting for the Greenburgh Student News Network.
Summer has returned with beautiful green trees, flowers, heat, and humidity. Thoughts of pools, barbecues, and family vacations are at the top of our mind.
But just a few months ago, during Greenburgh's cold weather, drivers faced the challenges of frigid temperatures, snow, ice, and dreaded potholes.
No one likes these hazards, but what causes potholes? Here's an explanation.
Potholes form when water seeps into the road and collects underneath. When it freezes, it expands and pushes up the road's surface. As cars drive over it, more cracks form. Eventually, the sun returns and thaws everything out, including the water trapped below the road's surface. It causes an empty pocket to be formed, and that eventually collapses under the weight of traffic, and then it leaves behind a pothole.
Some Greenburgh residents, business owners, and town employees say the pothole issue is getting worse and may be due to more than just climate change. Greenburgh resident LaShawn McCadla had an unhappy run-in with a pothole.
I have fallen into a pothole. I have had my rim broken on my brand new car. I've had to replace my tire. It's been very costly. It's cost me over $300. It's also very dangerous. Climate can be a factor, but maintenance is the biggest factor. Poor maintenance. The town has not maintained the potholes.
Proper Service Auto Repair has been in Greenburgh for over 30 years. Owner Rob Watson says he had seen a lot of damage due to potholes.
Mostly you're going to see a bad tire. You know, a guy's going to hit a pothole, he's going to put a hole in the tire. They're going to bend a wheel or they're going to crack a wheel. The suspension that holds the wheel on the car can bend or break, and the wheel can fall off the car.
Do you think the changes in climate patterns have impacted frequently the severity of potholes?
100% yes.
Guido Prospero is the owner of Prospero Nursery, and he says that potholes have impacted his business.
Trucks on this road actually are getting stuck where the drainage is because they're not cleaning them, and they think it's a solid ground, and when they pull over they just sink, and then they got to get towed out, and that's been happening frequently on this road.
Richard Vaughn heads the Department of Public Works for the town of Greenburgh. That includes the Highway Department, which is responsible for maintaining 153 miles of roads and repairing the potholes.
In 2017, the town of Greenburgh went out and had an engineer do a study of all the town roads, and it rated the worst roads to the best roads. The roads that are more traveled tend to get more wear, and those become the more problematic areas. Some years ago, the same study said that we should be spending $5 million a year on road resurfacing to kind of catch up in 10 years to a place where the roads were in good condition. And we try to take whatever funding we get and spread it out throughout the town and deal with the worst of the worst roads. But there are bad roads at this point, unfortunately, throughout the town.
Problems that Richard Vaughn says are hard to keep up with.
But age is the biggest factor, and then also weather. The impact that the weather has on our roadways is devastating. We do have our paving contractor in place now, and they are out resurfacing roads.
The DPW chief also said that the severe damage caused by Hurricane Ida in 2021 set back the town's effort to repair the roads by months.
I am Eva Alamo.
And I am Julian Alamo, reporting for the Greenburgh Student News Network.